Welcome everybody back to the Conversationalist episode 68. Today we got a fun mix on deck. We're going to talk politics, media, Pierre Poilievre going on Joe Rogan, whether long form podcasts actually help people understand politicians better, some movie reviews with Anaconda, Undertones. We also have a guest host on today, Bryce MacArthur, joining us. We're going to tap into fitness, discipline, routine, his 100 days of discipline, and staying consistent in a world that makes everything chaotic. We also have Lewis bringing in a topic of whether or not pages such as "Are we dating the same guys?" Actually useful for people in this day and age, or is it more of just cyberbullying with some rebranding? With that, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me today. How we feeling?
Good. Just coming off night, so
Oof.
I'm trying to join everyone in the land of the living.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm never a big fan of nights. Like it's fun when you're doing it because you're like, oh, this is nice. Like I'm not really seeing many people. I get to, sleep however long I want, and then you have to get back to reality and you're like, okay, I don't know if I like this so much.
And then on
Uh
top of that, you heard I got a new dog, a new
yeah.
puppy.
How's that?
It's horrible. Like imagine getting a new member of the household and they don't understand how things work. So I'm trying to sleep while she's trying to play, and the first 2 days, trouble and her were not getting along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
is it a puppy or is it
yeah, she's 9 months. So 9 months old. She's a Rottweiler wiener dog mix. So she has
do
the
you
build of
find
a.
that do you find that trouble like regresses into behavior now that the puppy's there, or the
Yeah.
puppy like
So
pisses on the floor or something?
no, not like that, but trouble. So his behavior has changed. If you know Trouble, Trouble is not like a toy dog. He doesn't like to play with toys or anything. And now, ever since Daisy's come into the picture, he's very possessive of all his toys. He's been touching toys I don't even remember buying him. Like it's a
Hmm.
whole different shift for him. It's cute.
What the name Daisy, where
Oh,
and
I wouldn't
why?
do that. I would change it if I could.
Oh,
Daisy,
fair
that's not
enough.
gangster.
Bryce, you have any pets?
Yeah, I have my dog, and her birthday's actually coming up, and then we have three cats.
Three
Oh
cats.
wow, and they all get
Yeah.
along.
Well, I mean, as good as cats can get along, I think, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
It's been, but like, I definitely get that too, because I remember when I got my dog as a puppy too. Like, oh man, you're trying to get you're trying to get them used to the household, but you're also trying to like get them onto a sleep schedule, and you're trying to also get them like integrated with everyone, and it's very challenging. It's great having pets, but there's like intricate little issues with having them for sure.
Oh, 100%.
What are your thoughts with dogs sleeping on the bed?
No.
No, I welcome it.
Well, your dogs are like the size of like a little trophy.
Yeah.
So like when Ralph sleeps on the bed, he used to sleep on the bed all the time. And then Emily's like, nah, we ain't doing that.
So I have a reason why. Okay. If a dog sleeps on the bed, I think it creates like it's very intimate, right? Which whatever, teach their own. I think the only issue is if you want people to watch your dog though. Because
Mm,
if you want people to watch your dog, what is your dog doing with them? Is your dog sleeping in the bed or is your dog sleeping in a crate? Because if your dog sleeps in a crate, it's not sleeping while you're gone.
right. So it's like creating this like almost dependency to like want to sleep in the bed with you.
Yeah, so if you're the people that are watching said dog are fine with your dog being in the bed, unless you plan on never going on trips, which like power to you, 100%. But if you plan to go away and you have friends that want to watch your dog, it's like that friend's never going to want to watch your dog again because your dog's not going to sleep. Your dog's going to be whimpering to get out,
Mm.
complaining the whole time. And I will say that since I had my dog crate trained in the beginning, she's been fine. Whenever I've had her, and like people take care of her and stuff, there's never been a problem.
See, we only stopped letting Ralph sleep on the bed because one day I think it was like we bathed him and like it must have been like the feeling of water or something. And like this has never happened in like the 7 years that I've had him. He legit went on the bed and just pissed in the middle of the bed. And I was like, yo, no more.
Dead
Like,
privileges revoked.
yeah, like it was just like, where did this come from? Why did this happen? And like, I was so taken back where it's like, so we got him a dog bed. He sleeps on the dog bed now. When we come in and watch a little bit of TV before bed, he'll lay on the edge of the bed. When we're about to go to bed, it's like, all right, Ralph, go lay in your bed. And then he hops down and lays in his bed. No big deal. But yeah, it's it was like, yo, what the hell is going on? Um I
Yeah.
was so mad, like unbelievably mad. Um but getting into like the news this week. I don't know if anybody watched it. I watched it. It was pretty cool. Pierre Poilievre went on JRE this week, long form interview, 2.5 hour conversation. I thought it was going to be a fluff piece. I thought it was going to be just like a bunch of layups, like just kind of like right wing talk. But there was a lot that I learned about Canadian politics, things about tariffs. Even they dived a lot into like MMA, UFC, talking about Canadian gyms. And I feel like Pierre Poilievre like established himself as like a pretty credible person. Like like Joe Rogan was asking him kind of like leading questions into Carney, and he straight up dismissed it and said like, I'm not gonna like shit talk our like government on foreign land. Like that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm like here to support the government in place. When it comes to next elections, it will be competition. But in the next for the next 3 years, like my job is to like provide support and like basically hold our government accountable while also being there to support them. So I would thought he was going to say like super disparaging stuff about Carney. Didn't say anything disparaging about Carney. Big ups to that. I thought it was going to be like, yo, our government's terrible. They're so shitty, blah, blah, blah. But it was a pretty like wholesome conversation. He got kind of endorsement from Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said like some pretty straightforward things like, well, all of this sounds very compelling. Like, well, why didn't you get elected? Like straight up. Like this is pretty like compelling things. Like I'm on board. Like, why didn't people vote for you then? And I was like, shit, that's a
What
I
did he
was like,
say?
he said basically we fought hard, we tried our best, and we just came up short. And like he asked him why he didn't come on during he was like, we tried to have you on, you didn't come on during like the campaign run. And he said, well, like I'm running to be prime minister in Canada. During that time, you really just don't leave the country. Like he's like, why would I leave the country when I'm trying to like get people to vote for me? Again, I think there's a lot of intricacies when you look at politics and you look at how he's trying to reestablish himself. But overall, I thought it was a very like and I thought there was a lot of like good information where like even Joe Rogan was asking questions about the government and how like the House of Commons works and how it differs from like US politics and stuff like that, where I was like, oh, cool. Learned something. Biggest thing I learned though was they used to use kettlebells to show you the weight of produce. So they use kettlebells. So because people wouldn't be able to like articulate the amount of weight. So say you bought 5 pounds of potatoes, they would use a counterweight and they would put the 5 pound kettlebell on the counterweight to show you that they were selling 5 pounds of produce. And that's
What
how the
is
kettlebell was actually invented.
what is the context of that conversation? How did that come up?
Because he gifted Joe Rogan like a Canadian made kettlebell. So he gifted him like a Canadian kettlebell with like basically on the handle it says like pull it up, Jamie. All of these different quotes that he had. And it was a place out of Calgary that designed it. And then that's where the conversation started. But I thought it was really interesting. It was never, and then the vendors, basically to attract more customers, they would do like tricks with the kettlebell to kind of appeal towards like bringing new customers. So it was never like a fitness appliance. It was to just show people like this is what 10 pounds looks like. and they would have them hold the 10-pound kettlebell, and then they'd put it on, and then it would show on the counterbalance, oh, it's 10 pounds of potatoes.
That is a wild fact. I never thought I would
Yeah, I
need to.
thought that was pretty cool. So
did was the kettlebell a thing before then though? Like I feel like it must have been a thing before that. Like I can't see the kettlebell just being created for produce. No.
well, like it was designed just as like a counterweight, and the handle itself was just used to move it.
Mm.
And then
So
like
I wonder who started using it for fitness.
well, I think like it turned into a thing of theatrics with the people that would sell all the vendors, because then they used it to show like their feats of strength. And then it became like,
Interesting.
oh, this is a very like functional way to do like cleans and lifts and kind of that idea. But yeah, that's what they said on the podcast. I had like a little bit of chance to vet it, but yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Worth. So you recommend tuning in and watching it? I've never been a fan of like Joe Rogan. Like I can understand the appeal, but
I think it's certain guests scratch a different itch. I think like if you're an avid hunter, watching ones with like Cameron Haynes and different like hunting people, if you're into science and medicine, he has like doctors and this and that. One thing that I was really displeased with was like before the interview came out, like a lot of media outlets were already kind of like denouncing it. And it's like, well, you haven't even fucking watched the thing. So how do you know that it was a bad interview if you haven't even watched it? Like that's the only thing that really kind of like upset me. Where and then it kind of gets into this thing of like, oh, like only the right wing people are gonna like this, but it was pretty like neutral. Like there was nothing that I was like, this is like tough guy talk, or this is like they're trying to like, you know what I mean, like part the seas in a way. But I think if you're Canadian and like you're interested to know like just who this guy is and like a little insight in like Canadian politics and how this guy thinks, I think it's a good. Think it's a good like inside the looking glass to see kind of how, and as well as like how Joe Rogan sees like Canada. Like they talked about, he straight up said like, yeah, like I just thought you guys got a little fishy with like your COVID politics and this and that. And like they kind of had some disagreements, and there's honestly like a lot of back and forth where like each person was getting like corrected in a way where it was like, oh, they're actually like chopping it up in a meaningful way, where it wasn't like, you know, this thing where it was just like they're just agreeing with each other the whole time. Right. So it was good. I definitely recommend it.
I'm usually fairly like neutral in politics, but I do feel like a lot of people are probably like assumptory because the big difference with there being some sort of like interview on the news is it's very performatory, right? Like you're there and you're trying to like almost do a presentation, or you're trying to perform to get like votes or try to get like the attention from from the masses. Which I feel like in a like a podcast scenario like that, like there's less pressure to perform. So you're probably seeing like a deeper side of his personality that you wouldn't normally be seeing in like let's say the news, right? So I feel like people are just going to assume based off of the party he's representing, but I think it's good to like go into it like you did, kind of open minded and be like, end of the day, he's a guy, he's a dude, right?
Yeah.
Like let's hear him talk, let's hear what he has to say, and you're gonna like likely learn things that you wouldn't have known about him before, like the kettlebell thing, right? Like
Yeah.
super random, but at the same time, like.
And not only that, like he was it wasn't like you could tell that it was like this increasingly like censored, like, oh, he's gonna like, they talked about the Trump 51st state thing. And I quote, Pierre Poilievre said, yeah, I wish he would just cut that shit out. Like that's bullshit. Like straight up, like said it verbatim, and you're like, oh, this person like he's not willing to be a little bit more like animated with his vocabulary. Like you could tell it's like two guys sitting down for a conversation. They talked about Alberta separation. He's like, yeah, like it ain't happening. He said like honestly, and he just straight up like he's like, I'm not even gonna like entertain it because like it's just not like it's not happening. Like it's not gonna happen. I agree. Like there is a lot of like there is a lot of like inequity between provinces, but like that's just not the way it's going to go. Like there's just too many
Yeah.
like intricacies behind it. It's too complex of a problem. And like the Supreme Court, like there's documentation in Price that he said like the Supreme Court, like even if they get a referendum, like any kind of conversations that they have about separation, like it has to be mutual. So it's like both parties have to agree on a divorce. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. Like I think it would be valuable for anybody that thought like because a lot of people are saying he lost and now he's trying to like reestablish his name, and I'm sure there was some of that, like trying to like just get back into the limelight or like try to get a little bit of stage time. But yeah. And he was there doing like a bunch of different shit. Like he met with like the governors of Texas. He met with like Ford talking about like different like auto pack or what, like there were a lot of things that went over my head, especially when it came to like tariffs and stuff. But he even told Joe Rogan, like, there's a lot of things that like we're tariffing you guys on that like he's like, there's a lot of like valuable resources we have that the US needs to make like products like radars. And he's like, and we hold a lot of that where like we could be an asset to you guys if you were willing to like meet us in the middle. But he's like, we have to like get back to like a tariff free. The tariff thing, I was like, I've heard it so much and it's so much talk about it where like I kind of my brain just like shut off where I was like, I don't it's like you're just like you're speaking in like Chinese to me. I have no idea what you're even saying. But yeah, I think people should check it out.
Mm, dope, dope.
And, and yeah, like my question kind of to ask on this, like, do you think that's like a valuable thing? Like, do you think more politicians should do that to get more likability? Or do you think like the idea, like, do you think that someone can be performative in a 2.5 hour interview?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's a good platform. It's hard to say because, like you said, Joe Rogan podcast is more right leaning. So are you getting an? Are you just saying stuff to appeal to that side, or are you just being genuine? Like Bryce said, is it just all performative, or is it truly who you are? I don't know. Is everything for clicks? Like I miss the days when everything was just not for viewer
Yeah.
consumption. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is interesting because everything that like there's always like this little bit, even if like 90% of it was like organic and authentic, you still have that 10% of like, well, this had to check a few boxes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't do it if there was some sort of benefit, right? So that's that's where you kind of have to look at it with a little bit of like critical thinking and say like, yeah, it was cool, it was informative, but I also know that there was probably bigger topics to talk about that they probably didn't touch because it was like past that red zone.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you guys really have like, you guys really chopping it up. I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to see a politician like speak freely. I don't think that's the world we live in. I think there's too much risk on the line where you're ever
But
going to see a politician like
that's
straight
Donald
up
Trump,
be
isn't it?
maybe.
I mean, Trump says exactly what's on his mind.
Yeah, but who knows? Like a lot of people say like this is the act to like show that he's like in charge. But really like in the background they have pictures of him yelling at JD Vance and like screaming at him. It's like, well, if this guy was in control, why would he be yelling at anybody? If this guy knew everything and was in control of everything, how is he losing his composure by yelling at his VP? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, very fair. Let's talk about movies. Kind of getting politicianed out. So you
Sure.
went and saw
I
on a
rented Anaconda like DVR.
oh, you rented
Um,
it. I thought it was a
yeah.
video still.
So it wasn't really enough of a movie that I was like,
Jeez.
I'm gonna go like you see certain comedians and you're like, okay, I already kind of know what arc I'm getting. So it may or may not be a good movie, but I already kind of know what's gonna happen, right?
So that's
This
the one
was
with
it.
Jack Black.
So Jack Black, Paul Rudd, basically this was like an inspired reboot of the 1997 film Anaconda. Um, basically, the idea is like they're reliving their childhood, director dreams. Uh, basically, Jack Black is a director, Paul Rudd's an actor, kind of both failing or like on the outs of the Hollywood world. And they basically get a loan to go make this movie. Um, and it was one of those movies where you're like, the plot is so dumb that I you didn't even have me. Like I thought I was going to see like more of like the funny goofiness of it, but even like the goofy funniness of it didn't really pay off because the stakes weren't even there. Like just like stuff like that where you're like it didn't really like get me there. Like I felt like even if it was funny, I was like I couldn't I couldn't even there was no like reality touch point for me where I was like, "Oh, like it's funny because like if I was in that scenario, it was like, no, this is stupid. It would never happen. Like you're not going to the Amazon for $9,200 with a crew of 5 people on like a fishing boat. Like it's just there's no reality here." So then when things started to happen, it's like, "Well, this isn't even grounded in like a realistic thought."
Well,
Like
that's why you have to shut your brain off during movies. Like,
no, but even the funny parts, like they had a part where they were at dinner and they were talking about like all these different things where they're like, oh, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna look at them and say this. And you can tell like in that moment they're being really serious, but it's also meant to be like, ha, so funny, where you're like, I don't even like it's not even serious because like the people that you're even trying to be aren't even that good of characters. Like the plot of it was so like terrible that I was just like, no, like
Jesus.
nobody's gonna
Well,
make a movie about a snake. And like if you were if you were directing like a reboot of this, like it didn't make sense. Like it didn't come together. Like nothing really like mattered for me.
Wow, you did not like this movie at all.
No, I just didn't care for it. And like the funny parts just weren't that funny. I gave it a 1 out of 5. And
Yo.
I gave it 1 point because they had an Ice Cube cameo. So
Oh,
I was
spoiler, man.
no, there's an Ice Cube cameo. You don't know where it is or why it is, but yeah, that's the only thing. And he was funnier than any part of the movie.
No J-Lo cameo?
Maybe.
Okay, good. Yeah,
it,
don't spoil it.
it does have a 5.6 or
5.6 out of
43%.
10?
Yeah, from users.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and with Jack Black, I think after the Tenacious D thing, where the guy that he's with said like, "Oh, I wish he should have shot Trump" or whatever. I think that kind of went. Yeah, so they were on tour. They're like a rock band that was a movie, and they went on tour as
Pick of
like a
Destiny.
yeah,
Of
like
course, yeah. Yeah.
basically like the nostalgic like just reselling the movie. And the guy that he was with, I don't know who the star is, basically on stage was like, "Oh, too bad they missed" or something like that, which how ironic because like never mind. How ironic because if someone else gets shot, it's like, yo, if you said something like that, like everybody would like lose their shit. So anyway, they were like, yeah, that's a little distasteful. And I think everybody kind of painted Jack Black in that light. And
You think that
it's
affected him? Jack, he's still killing it. Like, what
well,
did he
yeah,
do after that?
he's still making, but he made Minecraft. He
Maybe
made
Mario?
Jumanji 2. Jumanji
Mario?
2. Yeah,
He
but
was
like a
he was a
lot
Bowser, yeah.
yeah, but like I think he's kind of typecasted now. He's
Oh, yeah, he's
typecasted
always
as
been.
like just like Kevin Hart is typecasted. It's
Yeah,
like
Mm.
he's always
so
just the fat comic relief, I guess, or
so to take him seriously as a director, it's like no man, you're not like
but did you ever watch King Kong back in 2008? Was it the
yes,
Peter
where he
Jackson?
was like the videographer or whatever.
I think director, videographer,
Yeah,
whatever. But that was
but
I think he was one of the best parts of the movie. Like he played a
but like
serious role, and
but I don't think he could pull off what like Adam Sandler did in Uncut Gems. Like I just don't think that it's like his realm. Like he did it. There was one where he was on like this holiday movie where two chicks like
Good
did
movie.
a
Good movie.
yeah,
That's a
great
good movie.
movie. And he did a great job, but he was still like the dorky, like, you know, he played a serious role ish, but that was like the only serious movie I've ever seen him in. And but I don't think like he could go beyond that. Like,
Yeah. If you're
but
good at what you do it well.
do but
Do it
yeah,
all.
I think give it a watch, but you're not really you're just everything you see, you're like, yeah, all right, cool.
Now
Anyways,
when I saw the trailer for it, I kind of got like Tropic Thunder vibes from it. Is there any kind of no?
nah, they don't really like stretch. Like they don't really. There was nothing in there where you were like, "Ooh, this is testy." Like it was nothing like that. Um, yeah, like it just wasn't. It was just surface level. That's really like the best way to put it.
I think
If you
Hollywood
ever,
now Hollywood's too scared to take that risk and make edgy movies or movies with substance in case it
like,
fails.
have you seen Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
I
it
saw
wasn't.
that.
It wasn't very good.
No.
No, it was kind of like the same thing where you're like, they're not really like doing much of anything. And
Yeah.
then at the end, like right away, I was already trying to like find out who the dude was. I was like, yeah, that's the dude that's gonna kill them. Like, you know, and the thing that's like these possessed animatronic, like, but that was a better film than Anaconda.
Oh, that's saying a lot because I did not
Like
enjoy
that was a
that.
better film. Like I enjoyed it more. Where I was like, at least like they caught me a little off guard. But yeah, you Undertones. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Undertones, it's a horror movie. I didn't really hear about it until we went to go watch it, but yeah, it's one of those possession movies. It deals with a girl who's taking care of her sick mom, and
Okay.
she's a paranormal podcaster. So they talk about paranormal stuff on their podcast. This one day they get sent this mysterious file with 10 recordings on it, and they listen to it, and then it just some terrifying stuff on it happens. It's about this demon Abazu, I think is the name, and it's basically this demon couldn't have children back in the day, um, so she made it her mission to like kill newborn babies or babies before they're born, or just to get revenge and stuff. But yeah, so it was interesting. There's they had this thing where they kind of delved into children's songs and stuff. So like Baba Black Sheep and like London Bridge, and there's like this whole backstory behind it where you think it's just like this cute like children's song that parents sing to their kids, but the backstory to like London Bridge is that like the people who built the bridge like put dead bodies or something. I can't remember the exact story, but like Baba Black Sheep, uh,
It's about
they
like
had a
dropping cribs or something like that.
yeah,
Or like
yeah. It's just all
lullabies.
this dark
Yeah.
stuff. And then if you play the songs backwards, you hear like this demonic, like, when you play music backwards, you hear a phrase and demonic, and it's just like that. And I don't want to ruin it, but this girl is starting to experience some of the same stuff that's happening in the recordings. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's not going to win any awards. It has some good jump scares and stuff in it, but honestly, I'd give it a solid 2.5, 3. I'd say 2.5 out of 5. I think there's
I I can
better.
appreciate the premise. At least they're try. At least you're trying
Yeah,
something
it's
new.
a new concept. It's not the same old trope, but
You probably
that's
can't
just,
do it again. Like nobody else can now make like a podcast horror movie.
oh,
Like it's like you
I'm
know what
sure
I
they'll
mean?
make a
Like
sequel. Hollywood. They're probably
yeah,
making Undertones too right now, but it's
it didn't
it's
get bad reviews. 73%, 51 on for.
yeah, I think
uh
that's fair. Like it's something new, but it's still the same old formula for possession movies.
I wish they would bring back more of like the first person view ones, like Cloverfield,
Oh, Blair Witch Project and all that.
Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity. I think those are because you really like ground people like, oh, I'm actually like, I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
you
there,
feel like
right?
yeah, but
So what
I like
about
the
you,
Conjuring
Bryce?
movies. I
Yeah,
like the Conjuring
Conjuring.
movies. Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah,
Yeah.
talked
those are
about this.
those are
Um,
great.
I think we should talk about Spider-Man, the new trailer.
Ooh,
Mm.
very good. Uh,
Because Tom Holland released that like 2 to 3 days ago, and I think from what I saw, what I heard, it's the most viewed movie trailer of all time.
really?
I think it has 155 million on Instagram.
Yeah, it
And it's
has
only been a
30.
couple days.
It has like 13 million likes, something like that. But I think it's gonna be huge. You guys watched it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm excited about the Punisher, that whole
Yeah,
dynamic. Um, and like I was a huge like Spider-Man cartoon like in the '90s. I was a huge fan of
yeah,
that, and it just
dude.
seeing them, it kind of reminded me of that story arc where they had the Punisher hunting. Oh yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I have like
Uh,
the OG 67 collection
that's
here. Yeah,
OG '67. Yeah, yeah. But that whole arc where they had the Punisher chasing Spider-Man, where it looks like they might be going down that route, which I'm excited because that was fun and that brought back a lot of good memories and stuff. So
yeah,
I can't wait to watch it.
yeah. That's gonna be so.
Do you are you so you have the Spider? Are you a big Spider-Man fan?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Tobey Maguire films, like, and I think he paved the path for the Marvel movies. If I'm being completely honest, right?
So I need a ranking
Um,
for Spider-Man. So who would you say is who is your Spider-Man? Who's your Peter Parker? Who's your Spider-Man?
oh, dude, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it's
I think Andrew Garfield's a little bit too much of a pretty boy to be Peter Parker, in my opinion.
fair. Yeah,
But I think if you're comparing the movies, right, like that's more of the comic book interpretation of it. Like the Amazing Spider-Man's different than Spider-Man with Maguire or even the Tom Holland movies. So
yeah,
I think if you're comparing that to those, it's fine. I think like most age appropriate best Spider-Man Peter Parker is, in my opinion, Tom Holland, just
yeah,
because like
Mm,
most age appropriate, quirky, dorky, awkward Peter Parker, but also like a good Spider-Man. And he does his own stunts. And I'm
yeah.
like, I think that's hard to find these days. Is like people always like just get stunt doubles. So I think that's why he's won me over. I think.
mm.
Yeah, honestly, I was under my opinion here that I think Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, like when he was in costume. But I think Tom Holland is a good mixture of both. Like I can see him as Peter Parker, as that
And
nerdy
Spider
kind of,
Man.
and I can see him as Spider-Man. Like he pulls it off really well. So I think, but that goes to I think based on the generation you were born in is kind of where you will be leaning towards. So like I was in the Tobey Maguire era, and
Yeah,
seeing Spider Man on screen in what 2001 was that? I would have been like in grade 7, grade 6. That was that was wild. Like you couldn't even imagine. And me being a huge Spider Man animated series fan in the '90s, like that was a dream come true to see Spider Man actually on the big screen. And so Tobey Maguire has like a special place in I think in my heart and like any millennials' hearts.
And
yeah.
shout out to Michael Mando. Uh, got his first big thing with Far Cry 3.
Who's that? Michael Mando?
He plays Scorpion.
Oh,
Scorpion.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, what a wicked actor, man. He really set the tone for like video game villains. Like
Is he
he's
Scorpion in the movie then?
yeah.
Okay.
So he is Scorpion in the movie, and yeah, man, won an award for like best villain like ever in a movie. I mean, in a video game, playing
Which
as
that Far Cry
Voss.
3 or whatever
He
that was.
playing as Voss in Far Cry 3, where it's like he goes like, "What's the definition of
Oh
insanity?"
yeah, 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 that guy. Yeah, yeah.
So shout out to him, man. Wicked, and he played on Better Call Saul. Um, and
Great
yeah,
series.
he's in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He did
Oh
Far
yeah,
Cry 3 as well as Far Cry 6, the Hummingbird Project. So shout out for him. This is a big ups.
yeah. When's the release date for Spider Man?
2026. It says
July
here,
sometime.
July
Oh, perfect.
31st.
It's coming out quick. Yeah, I also think Holland's been in a lot of movies, right? Because he was in Civil War first.
Yeah.
That was like his like teaser into like Spider Man,
Yeah.
and then it was Homecoming, and then it was the one with Jake Gyllenhaal. I can't remember what it was. Was it No Way Home?
Far from home.
Far from home?
Was
Far
that?
from
Yeah.
home.
No way home. Far from home. I think.
And then he was in
Avengers.
yeah, Infinity War Endgame, and then it was No Way Home. Well, he's been in a lot of movies. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He honestly, that's imagine just being
Doc,
set up for life, just playing Spider Man. Like he's.
yeah, he
Good
was
for him.
in Doctor Doolittle, the 2020 reboot.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. My
Yeah,
brain went
with
to like the
Johnny
Eddie
Depp.
Murphy Doctor Doolittle, like back in the
The Uncharted. He was in the
Yeah, yeah,
Uncharted movie.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Uh,
that
yeah,
was pretty good.
You
Wasn't
liked
bad.
but
it?
yeah,
I mean, I think it's always you look at any kind of video game like
Adaptation.
yeah, adaptation. I think it's always hard to do it justice fully because Hollywood gets their hands on it and they're trying to glorify certain parts of it that like either didn't happen or they're
mhm,
trying to like add their own kind of flair. I think
Yeah.
it's that way for like anything. Like look at the Halo show or
yeah,
even
Mm.
like aspects of Fallout too, right? Like you
yeah.
just can't do the game justice because it's a video game. And but I think
And
like overall it was good.
I think there's also like a fan like I remember watching this so they talk I watched Lex Freeman and he interviewed like the creative director for Overwatch and he said like the people that make decisions about games and with movies are like so separate in what they want from the people that are actually creating it. Like that's where the biggest disconnect comes in when you look at like movies and video games where it's like the people up here are looking for money and the people down here are looking for a good experience, and like to get like an amalgamation of the two just like usually doesn't happen. um Funny story with that, he was talking about Overwatch and the reason that he left Blizzard was because the CFO brought him into the office and told him basically like we've reached such a high level with Overwatch that it's your job to get, they had to redact the like the total because he's on like a no whatever, can't talk about it. They said you have to hit X amount of sales or we're going to lay off 1,000 staff and it's going to be on you. And he was
Totally.
like, I walked out of the office, quit that day. He
Yeah.
was like, that's when I realized I didn't want to do the job. But just crazy. Like, and I'm sure when you look at like movie renditions or like big budget films like this, it's probably like, yo, you got to hit this amount of box office or we're never going to let you direct a movie again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's always the issue. Like Hollywood's trying to hit the Avengers level numbers. So if they
Yeah.
don't hit it, then they're quick to pull the trigger on stuff, or they don't want to take a risk on projects anymore.
Mm-hmm. Anybody into this new game, Crimson Desert?
No, but I heard of it.
I've heard of it too. It's not. Is it out now?
Yeah. I think it came
Uh,
out yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Thursday, I think it came out.
I know it's been worked on for a long time.
Yeah, apparently it was 9 years in the making. Like every year they would rebuild the engine so it's like optimized. There were some things where they said like the visual aspects on console didn't really like hit, like if you're playing on like an Xbox Series S, they said the game just doesn't do it justice because the hardware requirements. But so far they say that it's a very like robust game in terms of like how much time you're going to get. I'm never a big like RPG guy. Like I think the last like RPG-esque game I played was Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I really sunk like a shit ton of time into. Um, but I feel like you have to like buy into the lore, you have to buy into the game mechanics, the characters, like you know, I think there's a lot to do with that. So far I see that it gets a lot of good receptions, but I think it takes like a type of gamer to like really enjoy that. But
The
yeah,
only news I really heard of it was that it takes like it takes us some, I don't know if it's 2 hours or 9 hours. I'll have to double check that, but it takes like 2 hours to actually get to like the marketplace, or I should look that up.
Hmm.
But that's really the only news that I heard of it. And I kind of looked
Yeah, I
into
heard
it.
it was a slow start. It takes like a while to actually get through to like the meaty parts. You're doing like a lot of like bullshit where it's
Mm.
like where they're trying to like show off the game mechanics, but it's like, okay, I get it. Let me play, man.
Yeah, and you might lose people on that first, like just with people's attention span now. You might lose
Yeah.
Yeah,
people if you're not throwing them into it. But I
yeah.
understand too, like a lot of those RPG games are like they're more grindy games. They just require more time to invest into the game itself. And there's definitely phases for me where like I can be more involved and more invested in an RPG. But there's definitely times where like I'm more pro a game where you can just like pick it up, play for like half an hour, then stop.
Hmm.
And because like I've been playing Borderlands, the newest one,
Oh
recently.
yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah. I've been. I started playing NHL. It's
Ooh.
typical sports game.
NHL
Um,
24?
it's 26.
Oh,
Um,
ooh. Yo, run me in.
um,
I'll play.
Dude, I've been playing like the alt. My thing is the ultimate teams. I love playing ultimate team game. I hate,
Oh, do
but
you buy packs?
so no, I don't buy packs. If I if I'm feeling froggy, then I'll spend like $15 and I'll open like 2 packs or something. But I the play to win schemes, it's like you never win. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because it's like and I ran into this problem with NBA where it was like, dude, I was investing like so much money, and then now you look at it and you're like, all that money is like in 2K25. And
yeah,
then like and then with the emergence of like season passes and stuff like that, I just it just doesn't like scratch the itch. Like the only reason I really like that style is if they have the right modes where like they have this like cup chase mode. So you're literally just playing like compute with your ultimate team. You're just playing through like a simulated like 18 game season. And like if you make it through playoffs and like the farther you make it, the better pack you get. And you're just like rinsing that. But for me, it's like I don't really have like the attention span to like really if I play a game like I just finished Spider-Man 2, but I couldn't play any
Good
other
game.
game but Spider-Man 2. Like I had to
Mm.
completely play through because as soon as I stop, it's like that's it. I'm done. Like I
yeah.
can't come back to like I just stopped playing NBA 2K26 and I went back and it's like the season pass, like the level 40 reward was like 100 overall Draymond Green. It's like, well, I'm just not playing for this 2.5 months. It's like I don't care.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, I was just like,
That's a reward.
yeah, I'm just like, I
That's
don't care. Like, and with NHL, I don't know enough about NHL that it's like I'm also learning about hockey while
yeah.
I'm like playing. So I'm learning about different tactics and lineups, and so it's like I can really sink my teeth into that. But
See, my whole
I'm
thing is
looking.
like, what is the purpose of playing? Is your whole purpose for playing Ultimate Team like you want to beat people? So if you want to beat people, you're gonna have to spend money. But people who
Yeah.
play that game are probably spending more money than you are willing to put into the game. So it's just a lose lose situation. Like, and if you don't buy packs, you're gonna lose.
So the
So
cool thing that I like about NBA and NHL is that like over across all the modes, they have like every season has a salary cap. So the higher the players, the higher the salary cap. But if you can mix and match different players, you get like buffs for salary cap. So like say I get like like an all Edmonton lineup. Well, I get like a $10 million increase on the salary cap. Or if I like say I have a captain, well, I can enable more abilities on players if I have 5 Toronto Maple Leafs players on my lineup. So you get into this like structure of like, oh, you're never, and every week these combinations change. So every week you come into it and you're like, okay, I can mix like a bunch of like, if I have 2 Swedish defensemen or I have like, and they all have to be on like the same lineup playing with each other. So that's the only thing that really like scratches the itch where you're like, I I don't play online yet. Like with NBA, it took me probably like 2 game generations to like feel good enough with like the game mechanics to actually play online. But with NHL, like there's enough offline modes where I'm like, yeah, I can choose my like setting of like I started at semi pro and then I was just dusting the computer. So then I moved up to pro. I'm getting killed. So then it's like, okay, this is like a good little
Yeah.
competitive like, and they have like some good mechanics, but I think I'm so new to their franchise that it's like everything's fun for me. But I say if I was playing since like NHL 20, it's like probably a lot of these mechanics have been there for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
But
I haven't touched NHL since what, 23. I think that's enough for me. They've definitely devolved into trying to cater to the casual crowd, and it's just become too arcadey and just
yeah, like you can see that for sure. You can see I like the pace of it, and I think like going from NBA to NHL, like NBA, it's like you're kind of knowing if you're going to win the game by like halftime. So then
yeah.
it's like you're just kind of like for the other two quarters, you're like, I'm just waiting for this game to end. I'm up 40 points. Like, all right, cool. Like there's no possible unless I stop playing completely, there's no possible way I'm gonna like lose
I
this
had to
game.
stop playing NBA just because the whole meta change. It was just people shooting threes and doing that
Yeah.
garbage glitch movement shit where they
Like the
shoot you
step
off.
backs.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm done with this. I enjoyed NBA better when it was everyone's trying to cross you up and take you to the paint instead of shooting threes every
Yeah.
game.
I'm really waiting for like a story driven single player game. Like right now, obviously it's GTA 6. That's
Yeah,
like the biggest thing that I'm waiting on is like a legit story driven game that's kind of like grounded in today's reality. Um, you know, I
nobody.
like even Cyberpunk, I enjoyed it, but like I'm it just wasn't like it kind of lost me. Like all the different technology and this and that. I was like, it's cool, it's fun. But like then once you're going through the story, you're like, it's starting to dry up, right? But good game, decent game. Um,
Um, so I wanted to talk about the dating app. The Are we dating the same guy pages? Um, First of all, Bryce, you're not single, are you?
I have a girlfriend.
So you guys are aware of what the are we dating the same guy?
yeah,
Yeah, I know
it's
what it
like
is. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
doxing, like basically like a page like they just dox people.
yeah. So like for the I guess viewers who don't know what it is basically a female only page where they basically you can go in there, you can post a certain guy and basically get people commenting on them if they've ever matched with them, talked with them, went out with them, all just getting information on there. Um, so I kind of want to talk about this topic because I know someone who was on there, who's always on there, and it's gone to the point where it's actually affected their work. Like it's work got involved with it, and
Mm.
I feel like that. First of all, ladies, that page that you think is very secure and is only for women and whatever else, it's not. Let's just be honest. There's anytime I've been posted on it, anytime I've been posted on it, I've known immediately. I have coworkers, I have friends, female coworkers. I got family who's on it who always lets me know about that stuff. Um, and yeah, sorry, I didn't know where I was going with this, but just even like, so I had like screenshots about what some people have said about me, and
Mhm.
my biggest complaint is that all the comments, there's not a requirement for you to have a profile. You can be anonymous posting this stuff,
Yeah,
and
so it's like nobody even knows who you are.
yeah, and then my whole thing is like if I'm matched with you and I'm talking to you and dating you, uh, why are you getting the opinion of other strangers,
Mhm.
um, as opposed to finding out for yourself and actually having a conversation with me, or talking with people that actually know me.
And
uh,
another caveat with that too
yeah,
is it's okay to like date. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Like there are people that are like serial daters where it's like I just haven't found like again your behavior while you're on those dates should represent something, but I think at the same time like if you're in like consensual like relationships with different people and everybody's on the same page, it's
yeah,
like that doesn't necessarily make you a bad person or someone worth slandering. Like there's a lot of times, especially when you look at like the attitudes towards like females dating of like don't settle down with someone when you're not ready. It's like that is also the same when it
Mhm.
comes to men dating. Like you can be a serial dater as long as you're like conducting yourself in like a respectful way. It's like if you're a dickhead, then it's like
Yeah.
okay, like I maybe you should like or you're doing like predatory things. It's like yeah, maybe that is like sign for like someone to like say something, but I think if you're staying within the lines, like these things shouldn't exist.
no. But here, like, I got some comments here from from it that I kind of want to read. It says
Sure.
one person said, "We talked for a while. We ended up fizzling out. After talking for weeks, it was tough to meet with his work schedule, which was also a pain. He always had to adjust his sleep schedule, so that made conversations a bit harder. And I grew connections elsewhere, which is true. Anyone that knows or no, night shift shift workers, it's our sleep schedules are never the same. You're always catching up on sleep and all that. Another comment was uh, 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 he seems nice to me. That's all they said. That's fine. I went out twice with him, and I thought the date was quite nice. This is what annoyed me. It says I paid for both of the meals that we had. First one I paid for, my second both. That is a lie. And that's an anonymous person that put that. Never in my life has anyone ever paid for me on a date. Never. And I will call that person out. Uh, someone said, someone said, super nice guy. Went on a few dates after talking for a few weeks. He was really funny, respectful. Someone said he's a very good guy, which is a lie. I'm not a good guy.
Hmm.
But yeah,
But even then it's like is that not like ruining your chances of like having an authentic interaction with someone because they're just like expecting you to do whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're almost just trying to get like confirmation bias in some way of being like, well, I saw it on this post. So like they go in and they're like, you want me to pay? Because I
Mm.
saw that, you know what I mean? Shit like
yeah.
that
But
where you're
there's
like, you don't even get the opportunity to like present yourself. And it's like you
preconceived
haven't
like
even
notion.
met, yeah, it's like you haven't even met me. What the hell? Like, I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think, Bryce?
I have a lot of thoughts about this stuff. Um, First of all, like I think it. I understand people wanting to do their research, but I also think too that if you're putting yourself into like the dating pool,
Hmm.
like I do believe that you should be giving somebody the benefit of the doubt if you are just like exploring a relationship. And I think this does the exact opposite because what people have to totally keep in mind here too is like oftentimes this stuff is taken completely out of context. Like something could have just worked out for a mutual reason. I'm not trying to say like if someone was just genuinely a shitty person, then
Hmm.
that should be known. But if two people were like casually seeing each other and just like it just fizzled out, like I don't think that person should be like tearing that one person down and potentially impacting their future like ability to date
Hmm.
because of something just naturally running its course and fizzling out, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of like I can understand people wanting to be careful, but I do think that it pushes men into a position where they're going to feel less inclined to want to ask somebody out. They're going to be more inclined to push to lean towards porn
Hmm.
and lean towards like things that are safe because they're just like, oh, if I go on dating apps, I'm going to be like on these fucking pages because I'm going to be talking to a couple of girls, which you're allowed to do, right? If you're not exclusively with someone, you're allowed to explore options. And I'm going to be on one of these apps and I'm going to be like exposed for being a piece of shit. And like they're just going to resort to just staying at home and consuming porn and whatever and staying safe. So I think it definitely like pushes more into the lonely epidemic.
Mhm.
So that's just my thoughts on it. Like, I understand it's different dating for women than it is for guys. Like, I do understand that too. That's like, the consideration here. But I do think that a lot of guys, especially like friends that I have too, have a tough time with dating now. And it's because of groups like this, where like a guy that could genuinely be a good guy is getting like reamed out for something that happened like X amount of years ago.
Mhm.
Um, when in reality, like, people can change, people can work on themselves, like, I think it's just, there's a lot to it, right?
Do you think that kind of changed as well with like the standard of like what people expect, or like you always see those videos on social media where like a chick's like, I'm not going to date a dude unless he makes a gazillion dollars a year, but like sometimes like we get into this mode where it's like, I'm not gonna date someone that's, or like you have this guy, he's a big social media, like a big kick streamer, this Cavicular or whatever his name is, and he's like into like this like body modification thing, but he like, before a woman enters his house, he makes them like step on a scale. And it's like, what do we
What?
do? Yeah, and it's like, what are we doing as like a generation of people where it's like, it's not like, it's so like the level of like criticism going into someone, and like the level of like ability to be like empathetic or like be understanding of different situations is like this idea of like perfection, or the idea of like, no, you have to, like, I have these tight borders of like, this is what you have to do. And like, and as soon as you start stacking that, it's like, okay, they have to make 100 grand, and they can't do this, and they can't drink, and they have to go to the gym 6 times a week, and they can't do something that's like a dirty job. And it's like, okay, we're really narrowing the field here of like what's actually realistic, right? I think that's also a big thing. And then when you get into it, it's like everybody just wants everybody just wants a place to be heard. And then they use these experiences, like going out with someone, as a way of like, yo, I'm just trying to get some type of like feedback about anything of like
Hmm.
I'm doing something right.
Hmm.
It's scary. It's scary times.
Yeah. And I don't know, to like, I guess, be a bit of a devil's advocate for these things too. I think it's good that they are a thing still, because I have heard cases where, someone's on there and it's a insane situation or circumstance, and I think that that's totally warranted. But I do think that for like your average person who's trying to just like, you know, find someone that they want to be with, it does definitely impact their chances of meeting somebody, because they're getting segregated for
Mm,
something that they did X amount of years ago, with like virtually no context at all. Like, when someone's reading this, they're not understanding like how the dynamic was between those two people at that time.
mhm,
Like, you don't know at all, right? And I think that that's the thing that people have to consider with like, not just this though, but like social media in general, right?
mhm. I want to switch gears real quick to what you got going on, Bryce, because I think it's very interesting. You're in a lane where you kind of see this on a different side of it, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can kind of see when people are coming for like personal training or
Mm.
like life coaching, where like there has to be like some kind of like trend that you must see when people are, whether it's like insecurities with like their body or needing that type of motivation. Has you seen it, like, since the last time we talked? Have you seen like things emerge where you're like, oh, the reason people are coming to me, it's not that I'm not able to help or whatever it is, but it's kind of like concerning of like, this is what you're worried about.
Yeah, I think for me, like, one thing that I've been focusing on more is the my personal branding, but I think specifically like the demographic that I'm trying to speak to. So I think within that, like, I've realized that the people that are more drawn to me naturally are people that are stuck in like a all or nothing perfectionist kind of approach when it comes to fitness. But I often find things to just things that they're passionate about in general, because most people don't realize that like an all or nothing mentality or a perfectionist mindset, as much as a perfectionist mindset sounds good, it's not. because it is going to prolong you from actually like taking action, from actually like making any sustainable progress in something in general. And I think the one thing that I kind of see right now is that there's a lot of confusion when it comes to fitness and health in general. And I think a lot of it comes down to media, AI specifically. Like people have, like, there's a lot of like fake accounts of people that aren't even real. It's all like AI gen content, AI gen people. People have access to things like this. And I think with that, like the overall trust is very low right now.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, I think like people are almost, I find, and I'm not sure if you guys find the same way too, though, is that people are almost leaning more towards coaching now because they want something that is more real. It's more genuine. It's more authentic. You're actually having a conversation, and it's not like some AI gen bot that's making you a program that you follow that you check in with every week or whatever. And it's a little bit concerning for sure, just because I think people have certain like expectations coming into this, but I do think that it's driven off of what we are kind of as a society right now. And I think it's just because like people don't understand, because there's so much information out there right now.
Mhm.
And I think we just have to, like, as a professional, I think just in general, focus on simplifying things for people so it's like more digestible, and they like start to focus on the right things and not try to focus on like being perfect, or stopping because you missed a day,
Mhm.
or needing to go on a insane elimination based diet because you want to lose weight. It's like, end of the day, like, the foundational fundamental things were in place for a reason for X amount of years, and they still work now. But I think we lost sight of that in this like ideology of trying to like optimize or biohack everything that we do.
Mhm.
Um, and I think like there's a time and place for optimization, right? Absolutely. I think it's important. But end of the day, like we can all fall into a paralysis by analysis trap really fast, where we're analyzing things too much to the point where we're like shooting ourselves in the foot, and we're sabotaging ourselves because we can't actually like make progress.
Have you seen people talk about peptides more in 2026?
Yes, it's super trending right now.
So
For me,
what's your take on that?
okay, so I would say like my take on that is like my take on PEDs.
Mhm.
They're kind of in the same category and realm, right? People have the right to choose, and people have the freedom to choose, right? So if somebody wants to use a PED, or if they want to use peptides, and if they want it to aid them in whatever they're doing, I don't really see it being a problem, as long as they're getting blood work done beforehand and they are taking everything into consideration before doing so. But the only time I really see it being a problem is if like there's a moral or ethical problem with it, right? So if someone is, let's say, like in a bodybuilding realm, someone is competing a tested federation, but they are untested, like they are on PEDs, that's more when it's a problem, because it's like affecting people that are actually like taking the sport more seriously and they think it's a level playing field. That in my mind is when it's more of a problem. But if someone's like wanting to lose weight and they've had troubles with it and they feel like getting on a peptide is going to help them lose weight, I think as long as they're doing the right things on top of that too, like they're building good habits, they're instilling discipline into their life, they're creating a good habit, right? Then I don't really see it being a problem. But I also don't know enough about peptides to like necessarily tell someone to go on this peptide or go on this peptide.
Mhm.
But I think people just have to like do their research, like before you hop on something, like know what you're actually taking and putting into your body.
Yeah, I think they got to change the names, man. Names are a little HG1CQX, 1Q Mega 5. I'm like, yo, this is like some like next level Avengers shit. Like I feel like I'm putting Venom syrup. Like that I see people talk about it. I'm like, yeah, you got to change the name of that shit, man. Like that's scary. No wonder people don't trust it. But I think it's the same thing when like you said, when you look at anything like performance enhancing or like biohacking, it's like you have to do your research and like have the right intention with it. And yeah. Um, and then talking about social media, it's interesting because like social media is like a gift and a curse. Um, how do you like stay within that realm? Like, kind of talk to us briefly about like your 100 days of discipline and how that kind of started and what your like intentions are with that.
Yeah. So, for those of you that are like watching this or listening to it, um, I'm pretty consistent when it comes to content, but I found for a while that I was probably losing sight of things that truly mattered. As I think a lot of us do, we get focused on the wrong things. We get focused on insights and metrics, and we don't focus on the root reasons that we got into content and in general, which is to help people, right? So I caught myself chasing views, and then I would get discouraged when the views wouldn't be what I thought they would be, or I'd post a video that I thought would totally hit and it would flop, right? And it'd be one of those things. So for me, like one thing that I do, and I actually learned this from my business coach, and I do it with my clients, is I set a word of the year with all my clients. So the word of the year, what it kind of represents is something to like help you course correct and stay aligned with your actions, right? So for me, the word is discipline. Ironically, that's why the series is called 100 Days of Discipline. And it's not discipline when it comes to like working out or nutrition, but discipline in the sense of like me holding myself accountable to doing things that I need to be doing, but there's like friction internally within doing that stuff, right? So like there's still things when it comes to like the business end or whatever it may be where I know that they need to get done and I know how I feel after I do them, but the old like older version of me there's like puts up a wall a little bit to like doing it. So this 100 days of discipline is for me to get more, first of all, comfortable speaking to camera and being okay with a job well done and not perfect. I think that's what, like one thing that I battled with for a long time is I would just like obsess over minute macro details and I could do it for like an hour. And sometimes I wouldn't even post a fucking video. So like what I've learned now is sometimes it's okay to just put out a video and be like, this is good enough. Like this is good enough. This is for me to like get the video out today. And honestly, the series is more for me than for anybody else. It's for
Mhm,
me to just hold myself accountable to the days that I don't want to post, but I force myself to post, to keep a good log of my skill development over the 100 days too. I want to get better at storytelling. I want to get better at
mhm,
not using filler words. I want to get better at cadence and flow. And I think the only way to do that is through practice, right? Like what you guys do here,
mhm,
podcasting, but also getting good at speaking and knowing how to like actually form thoughts. So that's a big reason for me, honestly, is that, but also to, um, I'm sure you guys have heard it a ton, but more focus on personal brand. So
mhm.
for me, like I want to focus more on who I am and not just what I do. Right. I think
Right.
like sometimes a lot of coaches and just people that are on social media in general get way too focused on this is what I do. And I think they pigeonhole themselves into that category, especially from like what I'm learning from like courses in education recently. But it's really important to like post more about you as a person, like your past struggles, the things that you've overcome, even your struggles now, right? Because people can relate to that shit. And that like the phase of your life that you're currently in and the things that you're like actively working on to get where you want to be. Because I think that that's end of the day, that's what people relate more to, and like it kind of
Mhm,
ties into the whole like the whole AI conversation too, right? Like people are going to relate to you because of your vulnerability, your honesty, your transparency, right? And I think it's good to share that insight with people too. So for me, there's a lot of reasons to it. It's to continuously still get out of my bubble and out of my shell. Um, I think that made sense. I don't know. I kind of went
mhm.
off a little bit
Yeah,
there.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. One question I find is really interesting, and I don't think it's with you. I don't think you have this problem, but I think a lot of online coaches have this problem where the correlation between intensity and instability, and like
Mm.
is that a fine line that you think where it's like you want to look like you're this motivating character, but how much does that almost make you look like kind of crazy? And is there like a fine line there of like showing that like you're there, you're ready, and then is there kind of the idea of like you're doing too much?
Hmm. I I think it kind of ties into what we talked about earlier, right? It depends on what you're trying to do, like with your media and with your platform. I think if you're preaching that you're this intense person that's always locked in, I think it's pretty performative because, to a degree, like you're going to experience highs and lows and you're going to face periods in your life where things just naturally shift.
Mhm.
And the things that were top priority may not be top priority for a set period of time. And like, that's fine. Like for me, I had trouble learning that, like just, oh, I can't be fully on the gas all the time. What? No way. So I think for me, like I've had to learn through the process too, that like being disciplined in this example too, right, can mean so many different things. I think people tend to think when it comes to fitness, it comes to working out or it comes to, eating perfectly, like on track. But being disciplined can be also like taking a fucking day off from work. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
being disciplined can be putting your phone down to spend some time with your family and your friends. Being disciplined can also be like, hey, you know what? I've been pretty dialed in lately. I deserve to go out and have this meal that I'm looking forward to as well. Like I think people need to focus on, I think coaches, they want to show this like rock hard persona online. But like end of the day, I think what you're doing in general is creating a wall between you and the person that you want to try to help, because they think that you're almost like this person that never fucks up, that never slips up, that never has any like mistakes in their life too. When like end of the day, like people want to know that you're also human and
Yeah.
that you
Like
also
you're not
have
a
like
video
a
game
soft side.
character. You're
Yeah,
not a
exactly,
video
right?
game character, right? Like I even find myself sometimes when I'm interviewing people, I uh I say like, okay, what type of like role am I playing? Like, am I going to be the guy that pushes back? Am I going to be the dude that kind of like, and then you have to like take a step back and go, it's just okay to like be myself, right? But you almost say like, oh, what like I think it's this idea of like you think that you're going to view it back and be like, oh, I know what I'm looking for. And like this, so it's this weird thing that like social media, and I think it does to people's mind where like they try to telegraph what they think people want instead of
Mhm.
just like being authentically who they are and like seeing where that goes. Right. Um,
I think just to kind of like this one
yeah.
second thought, right? I think this goes for anything, right? The freedom to express means that you're free at your soul, right? I think if you feel like you have to confine yourself into a certain category and like a certain kind of posting, there's fear.
Hmm.
Internally, there's fear. There's fear that you're not good enough, like that you can't be yourself because people won't like you or people won't relate to you or understand you, right? But what I've learned through this whole process, because there's days still where like I'm in my head and I'll do a take of a video 10 times, man, right? And I'm just like, fuck, this is stupid. Fuck, this is stupid, right?
Hmm.
But like end of the day, like you just have to learn to be okay with being yourself. And it's
Hmm.
so cliche. You see it on every fucking Hallmark card. It's like, oh, just be yourself. And I hate that that's what I'm saying here, but it is so like true, right? The more that you just like you be free and you let yourself like just have fun, because I think sometimes we get so focused on, like we talked about earlier today too, metrics, how stuff performs, optimization of keywords, of the hook, whatever it is, right? That we forget, like, oh yeah, like this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be enjoying this. And the more fun that you have, your audience or whatever it is will be able to tell that you're just like having more fun.
Hmm.
And this is kind of like my point of advice for just like anybody who's in the creative space. It doesn't even matter if you're like personal training or if you're podcasting. Like if you're just like trying to do something that like not many of your friends are doing and they kind of like judge you a little bit, it doesn't fucking matter that much.
Hmm.
Like people's attention spans are pretty much like the equivalent of a goldfish when it comes to social media. They'll see something that they don't like for probably like 30 seconds. And I don't mean this in a bad way, I just mean this in a very freeing way. They'll see a video of yours that they don't like. They'll share it with someone. Like, this is fucking stupid, isn't it? Yeah. And like, that's it.
Yeah.
They'll go back to like reels. They'll keep scrolling, and they'll probably forget about it. But like in our minds, we think that it like it's a bigger deal than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So just like relieve yourself of like the constant like worry of criticism, of judgment and everything. It's just like just have fun with it. And I will say that too, that once like when my content changed more and I was more focused on like who I am and like what I'm currently working on and like how I help my clients too and like my personality, like I've been able to reach more people. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just because like you're speaking more specifically to a certain audience and not so broadly to
Yeah.
everyone. And it's like the whole idea of like if you're trying to speak to everybody, you're going to resonate with no one. But if you try to speak to one person, like you have to just like you're going to speak more to like a narrow kind of niche, but it's going to mean more to that person. So just like
What
yeah, end of the day, just have fun.
I want to know what your thoughts are with like so we have a guy that we've been following, Shoddy Mills. Do you know who this guy is?
No, I should look it up, right? I'll look it up while you talk.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay. So people are following like I'm having an identity crisis because I watch this guy's reels and I'm like, are people liking and sharing and following his stuff because like they want to motivate this guy to do what he's doing? Or is it like, or is it like we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you? And that's really hard for me because at sometimes I get stuck with that too, where I'm like, how much am I like using social media to like, prop people? And sometimes like I want to take interviews and then I'm like, I can't because like I don't actually like believe in this person.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But if I bring them on, they're going to think that I'm bringing them on because like I value their content or what they're making. And really, I just know that people are going to tune in to be like, ha, look at that guy. He's whatever, right? But I follow this guy and I think like with enough time, like this guy might get good. But it's like the attention that this guy's getting is like almost like oversaturated where you're like, I
It's a
don't
lot.
it's a
He
lot. And you're like, I don't see it. I don't see it like I'm not getting like the enjoyment from like the music he's making. I'm I'm like almost astonished to be like, what is happening right now?
yeah, he has quite the following, and it seems a very passionate and yeah, he's
But I would hate for everything to fall apart when like something comes up and it's like, yo, look, I'm getting all this attention. It's like, no, 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 we're actually like making fun of you. And it's like, that's so detrimental to someone's like that's what scares me, man, is like you don't really know. Like, am I inside the circle of trust? Or like is this like this big gag that like eventually like everything's gonna fall apart and it's gonna be like Truman Show where it's like, oh, you guys like this isn't reality. Like you guys actually don't like the music I'm making. Like this song where it's like bullet bust or whatever. And you're like, dude, people are losing their mind. And you're like, there's no, like, I don't know what's going on. And it's actually frightening. Like, would you pay to go to a show?
you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm I'm open. You know what I mean? Like I'll support local, and you know I'm trying to expand my
But like
my.
I'm going for like the astonishment of like I'm gonna go to see if there's actually that many people and then go, holy fuck, how did this many people like, and then you're saying maybe this is just like the underground rap thing where like, dude, because I went to a rap show, shout out to Vintage Soul. I went to a show. Yeah, I went. It was like this like sketchy like sky bar off White Ave. But like the crowd just like it just didn't like resonate with me whether or not the music was good. Like I found that the music was decent, but like I didn't even stay for the headliner. Like I stayed for like an hour and I was like, I'm good, like I've seen enough, right?
Mm.
But yeah, it's really really interesting because like I don't know where people's intentions are. And like I bring up this Shoddy Mills because like, dude, this guy is on fucking fire. And you're like, like he'll come and he'll make like a thing of him rapping to like his Mary Brown's meal, and you're like, there was not one rhyme in this 90-second video.
Well,
Nothing rhymed.
I told you that that my group, my boys group, we they bought one of our friends
Like a
cameo.
cameo.
Yeah, so he
Like
rapped.
this guy's on Cameo. It's like,
Yeah, he's
dude,
on
what?
cameo. But he's getting attention whether it's good or bad. But you know what they say? There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Publicity.
So
I
it's
I th- I think one thing you got to remember with any of this stuff here too is kind of like what we just talked about. It's just like it's just a sense of like freedom, right? So maybe as much as like he might not be good to what people think, but if he thinks he's good and like if he's like just having a good time and he's just like free and he doesn't care about like the judgment, the criticism, all that stuff, then like that's probably what's allowing him to grow, right? And like end of the day, people I think they like being a part of something and they kind of like that little bit of that like shock or wow factor.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's almost like that shocking that they're consuming his content and that they like it, then I don't know. It's interesting.
And I never made a song. So it's like, who am I to decide what's right and what's wrong? I just think it's like, I try to find the value, and I say, like, to the everyday person, would they find this enjoyable? And like, it's just this weird paradox I'm in, and I'm in this huge identity crisis with Shoddy Mills, because I'm like, do I like him because like he's a cool like influencer, charismatic guy, and like I enjoy what he's making, or like do I enjoy to like, I don't know, be a hater? Like, am
Dude,
I enjoying?
he's winning. He's
yeah,
getting
I was
some
gonna say
free
at
clout
the
from
end
the
of the
pod.
day, he's at the end of the day, I don't think it matters. Like he's
No, and he's doing what he wants, and he's having fun with it, and great,
doing
and
what he
like,
wants,
good
and
on him. And
people that like him are going to support him, and the people that hate him are just giving him more.
And you know what? Like, if he does do a show, like he just did like a meet and greet or whatever, and like, dude, you look and it's like packed, and you're like, what? Like, what am I missing here? And it's like, maybe this guy's a great live performer. Like, who the fuck knows? But I find it like great on him. Great on him.
It could be the vibes. You never know.
Yeah, who
Okay,
knows,
Ryan,
man?
we'll go check out his show, his next show,
Yeah,
and we'll have a definitive answer then.
yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about Shardy Mills? Like, let's tag him in this so we get him on the show. I invited him on, he just never responded.
Yeah.
I messaged him and he left me on red, so maybe I'm just butthurt. Who knows?
I don't know him. I'll have to look.
Yeah, check him out. But no, I think this kind of wraps up a good conversation. I'm really glad we got you on, Bryce. You're always welcome on the show. I'm glad this scratched your itch for the podcast and discussion, and we're always watching what you're doing and repping your stuff. So,
real quick, Bryce, do you have anything coming up?
Nothing major, man. Just for me, just focusing on the business still. I've been doing a lot of like just back end stuff on it. So yeah, nothing crazy for me.
Okay.
No race, nothing like that. I would say right now is like the season of my life where I've been the most focused on trying to get a little more clarity on some things. So like, more structure. I feel like I've been kind of like winging too many things. So trying to get more organized.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really quickly, tell us how that Spartan run went. I'm interested to know how it was received.
Okay. So for people that aren't aware, back in like August, I ran a Spartan race, so an obstacle course race, in Lululemon women's top and bottom. And it was to it was to raise awareness for mental health for guys. But for me, it was also because like, oh man, I'm the kind of person where like I would let like anybody's opinions or like criticism dictate what I do or didn't do. And for me, like I was just like, can I go and run a race where there's hundreds, potentially thousands of people watching me doing this, right? And just be focused on just like the race and focused on like the greater outcome of what I'm doing. And it was very, very anxiety inducing doing the whole thing, you know, leading up to it. But I will say that after, it was very freeing, and it made me realize like just how much we get in our own way, right? I think we like we're our own worst critic, and we tend to like self-sabotage ourselves a lot. And I think for me, like the whole experience is really eye-opening to what we're truly all capable of doing, but also like how it's not that deep. like like I bet you somebody saw me there and like got a good laugh, maybe told one of their friends, and like a week later they probably forgot,
Mhm.
right? But I'll send you a picture so you can post it on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be a clip.
Yeah, sounds good.
Uh, you
Apparently I rocked the gear, so that's all that
yeah.
matters.
No, that's good. And no, you definitely like I can appreciate the idea of like taking yourself out of your comfort zone and like seeing things as like not as crazy as they are. And again, I really appreciate the fact that you say like people see it and then in about 5 minutes they're like, oh, what were we talking about?
Yeah,
And it's not like as a like a it's not like defaming or like any like type of that. It's more of like again like you said like giving people freedom and like telling people like people aren't that hung up on like what people are doing. It's not that
no,
like crazy. Like people are really just trying to get from point A to point B, and like
yeah,
a lot of things that people get concerned about are oftentimes an afterthought.
yeah.
So
And like I think just to kind of like one thing to wrap this up here, because I know that we're trying to keep it time
yeah.
sensitive, but like I think this is just for anyone, but like just start doing the thing. Like if there's something that you've been like sitting on for a while, and like let's say like the classic thing where you've been drafting, I don't know, you've been drafting like this reel and you're like, oh, I'll post it tomorrow. Or you've been drafting this reel, I'll post it tomorrow. Or like you've been wanting to get starting a podcast, but you haven't yet. Or like start a business, whatever it may be. Just like lean into it and just start. The hardest part of anything is just doing the thing.
Starting, yeah.
And it's like after that you just get the natural ripple effect of compound and and momentum and everything, and it gets substantially easier. Um but yeah, just get out of your own way, because I find that like even for me, like I was self-sabotaging myself so much, right? And once you realize that like you're like your own gatekeeper virtually, essentially, like it becomes a lot easier. And then I'm not saying this in a sense where like I'm totally like free, you know, like I don't have my days. Of course I have my days. But yeah, take a bit of a bet on yourself. And I want to give it some kudos to you guys here too, because I know that you know, I know how much work podcasting is
Mhm.
from experience, right? And I want to give kudos and props to you guys for like doing this. I think this is awesome. And I think it's a very expressive platform, but I also think it's great too to just like have people come on and share their thoughts, share their insights, and you know a lot of the connections that you can make through this stuff too. And that's why I think like as much as we shit on social media, I think social media is also a very beautiful thing, because I've made a lot of really cool connections that I think I'll have for a long time because of it.
100%. No, I agree. No, we definitely thank you for coming on today. You shared a lot of insights about uh, just everything we've been talking about, man. And yeah, I we're just again same thing as you're saying, man. We're taking the leap, and we just trying to have fun, just trying to have fun, enjoy ourselves, and that's kind of where it starts. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, with that, anything else you got to say, Lou?
No, that's
No.
it. Thanks again, Bryce. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
thank
has
you
been
guys.
episode 68 of The Conversationalists. Thanks again, Bryce. You can check him out on social media, Bryce MacArthur on Instagram. And your site is it B3 Coaching? What's the
Yeah,
site called? b3coaching.ca,
yeah,
.com?
yeah. So my Instagram is just my name, Bryce MacArthur. So through there I have like all my links and
All your
stuff. But yeah,
links.
come check me out on there.
Yeah.
toss me a follow. It'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Check him out. Follow him for his 100 days of discipline, as well as if you're looking for personal training, fitness coaching, he's your guy. And with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow Spare Bedroom Studios, clips every day, episodes weekly. And that is episode 68. And we will see you next week. Bam.